Hey, what's up guys, Luke here today with a video review for you of the HTC Jetstream, which is an Android-based tablet that I had in my possession not too long ago. Huge thank you to the folks over at HTC and Paradigm PR for sending it over to review, and sorry for this review being so late. But now that it's here, let's get right on into it. The first thing I want to talk about is a device overview. So on this tablet, you're going to be seeing a 3.5mm headphone jack, volume rockers on the side of the tablet. On the back of the tablet, you're going to see a dual speaker system with a subwoofer, and up on the top, you're going to see a 8-megapixel camera with flash that does 1080p video recording at 60 frames a second, which is kind of impressive. On the front of the tablet, you're going to be seeing a 3-megapixel camera and a 10.1-inch WXGA display. The actual build quality and structure of the HTC Jetstream is very impressive. I mean, with the price it should be, and we're going to talk about the price a little bit later on. One thing I noticed about this tablet is that it is a fairly heavy device, and it's very hard to hold in one hand. You actually have to hold it with two hands. If you're holding it in landscape with one hand, you notice that you're always kind of tipping, and a lot of the weight is misproportioned. Another piece of hardware that I actually received with the tablet is the pen that can be purchased for $80. When I first held it, it did not feel like an $80 pen. I thought it felt flimsy, but looking past the design structure of the pen, the applications on the tablet are actually really cool. When you first use the pen itself, it actually brings you up into a little tutorial to show you how to change the type of pen between a marker, a highlighter, ballpoint pen, all sorts of different tips, widths, chisels, colors, stuff like that. And my favorite feature about the pen is that you can actually take screenshots with just touching little buttons on the pen and then write on the screenshots and then send them out to email. So you can make notes, highlight things, and then send them to your friends via the email application. Another thing I quickly want to mention about the pen is that HTC's handwriting recognition software is fantastic. It's got the little glitches here and there, but in terms of handwriting recognition, I remember when Palm used to do it. Palm sucked, but HTC is actually really good with the handwriting recognition. I think the pen's a very cool piece of hardware, but definitely something that should be included in the package and not an $80 extra. The next thing I want to talk about is the screen and the speakers on the device. The HTC Jetstream rocks a 1280 by 800 WXGA display, so that's higher than 720p resolution. So if you want to watch YouTube videos or any kind of high definition video in 720p resolution, it's going to look phenomenal. Personally, I think the saturation and the colors on this display are beautiful. However, one thing I did notice about the display is when you're looking at it at varying different angles, you can notice lines on the actual display itself. And when I was reading other reviewers' thoughts and reviews on this tablet, I noticed that they were saying that as well. The speakers are located on the back. It's a dual speaker and subwoofer system, and I think the speakers are phenomenal when you're holding the tablet in your hand. But sometimes before I go to bed, I watch Netflix on my iPad, or in this case, I was using it on the HTC Jetstream, and I just put the tablet on the bed, and when the speakers are on the back of the tablet, that pretty much muffles all the sound. So I think the speakers work really well, but they're really poorly positioned. Now the HTC Jetstream packs a 7300 milliamp battery, and just standalone sitting there from a full charge, I noticed it lasted about 3.5 days without being at critically low and it needing a recharge. The good thing is that from what I gathered, when using the 4G LTE network with Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, constantly updating, constantly being checked, I got a little more than a day's worth of 4G use, which is really good for a tablet nowadays because things like the iPad, the iPhone, when you're constantly using just the 3G data service or the Wi-Fi data service on those guys, battery drains and it plummets. And that day and a half of use was with auto brightness on, 4G on, Wi-Fi off, Facebook, Twitter, and Gmail notifications on, and them constantly being checked. The camera on the back of the Jetstream is an 8-megapixel camera that shoots 1080p video at 60 frames a second, and it also has a flash on the back. A couple weeks ago, I uploaded a test video of 1080p video from the Jetstream onto my channel. This is a video of Dundas Square in Toronto, shot in 1080p at 60 frames a second, right natively from the Jetstream camera. On the front of the tablet, you're going to notice a 3-megapixel camera for conference calls and other video applications like Skype. A cool thing with the actual camera mode on the HTC Jetstream is that not only does it come with like your black and white, your sepia, your daylight, your nighttime modes, but it also includes modes like beach, snow, and candlelight environment settings. Not a lot of people turn to tablets now for cameras after what the iPad did to the tablet camera, but I was actually pretty impressed with the camera system on the HTC Jetstream. In terms of the operating system, the Jetstream is rocking Android Honeycomb 3.1, and it's also an HTC device, so the HTC integration with Sense and Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, and all those other Google and HTC services are all integrated into the Android operating system. Like I said before, this is my first Android device, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very easy to learn HTC Sense, Android operating system. One thing I did notice is that when I first turned on and set up the device, there was a lot of crapware and stuff that the average user would never even open. And considering this is only a 32GB device unless you add external storage, that crapware takes up a lot of valuable space. Being a first-time Android user, this was also my first time in the Android marketplace. A lot of people talk crap about it online, but I was actually pretty impressed with it. Maybe it was just a lucky day, but games like Angry Birds, Need for Speed, they were all free. I downloaded them fairly fast and they looked great. I've played Angry Birds on the Motorola Xoom and the BlackBerry Playbook before, and on both of those devices there's always a little bit of a lag when playing the game. Like when you toss the bird, there's always like a zip zip lag. With the Jetstream there was no lag, and it actually ran the games very, very well. Now that you've heard all about this device and maybe you're thinking of buying it, this is where I may or may not crush your dreams. To get the HTC Jetstream on a 3-year contract with Rogers, we're talking about price now, a 3-year contract with Rogers, 4G LTE service is $499.99 plus the 4G service charge every month. To buy the tablet outright, so no 4G network, just a tablet that can connect to Wi-Fi, and eventually you can connect it to 4G, $799.99. This is all Canadian pricing, so it'll differ from country to country, from the States. $799 Canadian outright. Personally, I think the pricing on this guy is outrageous, considering that we talked about earlier that this tablet is actually paired with an HTC pen, but the pen is an extra $80. So after all is said and done, after taxes, the pen, the tablet, if you want to get the pen and the tablet, you're probably looking at a $900 to $1,000 tablet if you don't want the 4G service. If you do, it's $499 plus the $80 for the pen plus tax. So now you know what I think of the HTC Jetstream. What do you think? Leave your comments down below if you have any questions about the HTC Jetstream. I have filmed an iPad versus Jetstream kind of video with no audio, so I'm going to add some audio into it. I filmed like browser tests and stuff like that, so I'll probably upload that sometime in the near future. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button down below and the subscribe button above. So guys, this has been Luke from LukeDeMarco.com. Huge thank you to HTC and Paradigm PR for sending this tablet out. They've also sent me some HTC Raider phones that I've already compared, and I'm actually filming the review for in a little bit, so I'll get all that content up to you. Be sure to stay subscribed, and I will see you later.